when we're talking about the election November 4th, the Republican, in the Senate, because he's going to be one of 100. I mean, he's not going to be the dictator of all things. So one senator who has views that I disagree with, he's got a 1% voice in the Senate. And so even if he's got really crappy ideas about a few issues, if he's going to caucus with the Republicans, I would rather have him than the Democrat or the, quote, independent in Kansas who's going to caucus with Democrats. Because in the Senate, it's a numbers game, and we need to have more than 50 senators that are Republican. So the big rock on November 4th is suck it up and vote for the Republican. And then in January when they take office, that's when we start hitting them on back off on the wiretapping, change the laws and change the drug laws and quit incarcerating people who don't need to be incarcerated. It's in January that we start looking at the smaller rocks. Once we get the big rock in November of taking the Senate majority.
Yeah, I would also say a couple things. I mean, with the person who's upset that, I won't vote for, a Santorum type, and let's be honest, I didn't have Santorum rated highly in my group of who I was for, but I was a Herman Cain guy, so two quick things. Number one, I'd tell them, three things. First of all, I'd say, hey, I love the reason that you don't want to vote for this person. I love the reason you don't want to. You feel that they want to control people's lives in an area, and you're against government controlling lives. First of all, love the concept. I agree with it. Now, second thing though, let's keep in mind, little rock, big rocks. Everybody's got their little rocks. Okay? Hypothetically, let's say you're a libertarian, you don't like the Christian right intruding in their lives. So you say, I'm not going to vote for somebody with those moral stances. Okay. Then somebody says, well, I'm not going to vote for anyone who would legalize marijuana. Okay. Well, and third one, I'm not going to vote for anybody who is more interventionist in their foreign policy. All right. Fourth one, well, I'm not going to vote for anybody who's more non-interventionist in their foreign policy. Hypothetically, you have just guaranteed that if everybody does what you say you're going to do with this candidate, if everybody on our side does that, we are guaranteed of losing virtually every election nationwide. So we are guaranteeing Democrat supremacy, which means you will be run by people who want to control virtually all of your life. So that strategy is guaranteeing failure. I mean, the only way, what you're basically saying is, I'm going to hold this strategy, and the only way it can work is I really hope nobody else on my side does. I hope everybody else does not use the strategy I'm using. Now, is that a good strategy? I don't think so. Let's think win-win. How can we do this together? How about we look at each other and say, let's hash it out in the primaries, and whoever wins represents us that time, but the second the election's over, let's go back to discussing this issue. Let's not shut it down. And the third thing I'd say is, by the way, let's compare that Christian to the Democrats. Real simple. Does the Christian ever do what Democrats do with public schools? Do they take tax dollars from people of all beliefs and erect a school system that only teaches one side, and then force everybody's kids through a school system that only teaches their side at everybody's expense? No. They have churches. They have free will donations that are supported just by people who go to that church. So keep in mind that Christian that you're upset with, and maybe for some good reasons, that Christian is not 1% as controlling as the left is, as the teachers union is. There's nothing Christians do that in any way, shape, or form compares in their wildest dreams to taking money from everybody to finance places that teach one side and force everybody's kids through it. So keep it in perspective.
Not yet, you mean? Not yet. They're creeping on us. They're going. This whole thing is, once they get in power, those Christians, they're going to construct a Death Star and force everybody to convert. Otherwise, it's just It's curtains for any non-converters. It's trouble.
Well,
Bad stuff.
those are the secret party plans that you can only get to if you go to thegop.com and enter in your secret Captain Marvel password to get their real plans. You know, in public, they're not talking about that, JD. I don't think you were supposed to say anything.
I'm planning on making JD wear the dark helmet costume from Spaceballs.
Yeah.
As a Christian.
See, the funny thing about that is that the helmet would actually fit me, because I mean it's like actual size.